Why do we need a family institute? Like, everybody goes to church, or if they're religious, they go to church, and that should be enough of it.
The family is the most important component of our society. The entire future of the world passes through the family. The larger point is to ask you to stand up for religious liberty. Don't give in. The First Amendment is worth fighting for. The Family Institute of Connecticut is the state's largest and best known pro-life, pro-marriage and family organization, and of a state that is not known for those values.
The purposes of marriage as having something to do with procreation, those are the only arguments that have ever won in cases of this kind, and Attorney General Blumenthal refused to make those arguments.
Well, okay, moving on.
Defending marriage in the family is our signature issue. It's what the Family Institute of Connecticut is known for. Same-sex marriage is bad. It's not good for society. It's not good for children, for marriage, for religious liberty, for parental rights, for school curriculum. And the people of Connecticut agree with us. In the 21st century, the same-sex marriage agenda arrived in Connecticut, which denies the need of a father and a mother to a child. So what did we do in response to that? We led the fight against it. We've had same-sex marriage in Connecticut for 3 years now. It was forced by the court. We warned that these things would happen, and just in 3 years, all of our predictions are coming true. Connecticut had been targeted to be the first state in the country that redefined marriage not by judicial fiat, but through a democratic vote of our representatives. It never happened in Connecticut because of the Family Institute of Connecticut. We were outgunned, we were outmanned, we were certainly outfinanced. We defeated the opposition every year at the state capitol. We led the fight against the bathroom bill, which is this transgender agenda that we're now all faced with after same-sex marriage. HB 6599 would circumvent all of those exceptions, which would still apply to sex, but would not apply to gender identity or expression. So in other words, this bill would allow men to enter women's public restrooms. Well, the Family Institute was up at the state capitol day and night on the bathroom bill. That was an epic fight, and it only passed by 3 votes. It was the Family Institute almost alone against Governor Malloy. This bill is a radical assault on the right to privacy and safety of all women and children on behalf of one of the smallest special interest groups. That fight is far from over. We will not rest until that bill is repealed. One sign of our success in the state of Connecticut actually comes from the words of our opposition, a group called NARAL Pro-Choice Connecticut, which is the Connecticut chapter of the main pro-abortion lobby in the nation and also here in our state. They put out an email to their members saying that, in their words, they have a unique challenge in Connecticut because it was once a state where pro-choice, pro-abortion leadership, political leadership could be taken for granted, but they now have to contend with the agenda, the pro-life agenda of the Family Institute of Connecticut. And why? Well, because we achieved that parental notification hearing, because we've made defunding Planned Parenthood an actual topic of conversation up at the state legislature, because our folks on the other side are feeling the heat in a place that they always thought of as home, and we want them to know not to get too comfortable, because it's not their home, not a home for those sorts of values, and eventually it's going to be a home where every unborn child is protected in law and welcomed in life. Specifically, I'm here to ask you to vote yes to return graduations to First Cathedral. In 2010, 6 towns north of Hartford were threatened by the ACLU for holding their high school graduations at First Baptist Cathedral, which is a mega church, a Baptist mega church in Bloomfield, saying that you can't hold your graduations in a religious building. 5 of the 6 towns caved to that threat. One town, Enfield, stood up to the ACLU, because of the Family Institute of Connecticut. One of you said that there was no written documentation that the American Center for Law and Justice would represent Enfield pro bono. I have that written documentation. We worked with their Board of Education. We helped get them the pro bono legal representation that is now representing Enfield in that continuing dispute, because we know that church buildings ought to be treated the same as secular buildings, that churches in religious bodies should not be treated as if they're somehow a threat to our common life together, the way the ACLU would have it. So we helped Enfield stand up to the ACLU and against this absolutist misinterpretation of a wall of separation between church and state. Family, human life, religious liberty, Judeo-Christian values. This is what we're fighting for at the Family Institute of Connecticut, but we cannot do it without your support. I want to thank you in advance for contributing to our fundraising campaign, and God bless you for all that you do to help us continue to support our values.